right, Jason, first question.
Morning, Penny. If you could just, I guess, start by summarizing like the news of the day. You guys announced the signings of the three freshmen and the two transfers, Earl Timberlake and Davion Warren. Can you kind of give us a sense of what went into, your guys' decisions to take those guys and go after those guys?
Well, obviously the freshmen we had been recruiting for a while,
Right.
through last season, and built relationships with all those guys. And they ended up signing, because they believed in what we were saying. They believed in what they saw, the product out on the court, and really happy to get those three freshmen. Really feel like we have a talented group coming in. Josh Minot is a multi-talented point forward, pass first guard, athletic, that has high promise. John Camden, to me, is like a Tyler Harrell player that shoots it really, really, really well. And you can always use shooting. And he's 6'8", 6'9", and can definitely stretch the floor from 3 or 4 different positions. And then Big Sam Ondo is a kid that's very hungry, power, a bruiser on the inside, that's athletic enough and that can run the lane, that has good footwork. So we felt like that in our future, we needed a shooter, we needed another playmaker, and we needed a big. Not knowing Moose's future when it came to the NBA, we knew that we were going to need backup. We already had Malcolm Dandridge, and then to get Big Sam was also a blessing. And then to go out and get Davion Warren, really good player. We did our research on him. Talked to a lot of coaches in that conference about him. Finished second in defensive player of the year voting. One player of the year. I think led the conference in steals, points, and assists. So I think that he's just a kid that's and being a senior, a 1-year deal for a guy that's a veteran, 6'6", has length, playmaker that can score, that can get past people. I thought that was very important for us to get him as well. And then Earl Timberlake, what can you say about Earl? He's a promising point forward, that two-way player, might be the best two-way player in college, defending the basketball, toughness, and then also being a mismatch problem on the offensive end. So for us, we wanted to go out there tougher, where our kind of like how our system is, we're pressing. We wanted hard-nosed, tough kids, and I think we got that in these 5 kids as far as coming in to our program.
And you've still got a few spots, I guess, to play with. Would you say that's? I mean, I think it's 2 or 3. How many more spots do you have?
2.
Okay.
If Musa stays in the draft, then it'll be 3. But right now it's 2.
Terry?
How you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you?
Man, 1, when you gonna take a vacation? And 2, 3, how good is to have DeAndre and Landers back in the fold, coming with you, all the guys you got coming in?
Yeah, I don't know when I'll ever take a vacation, man. All I do is work. I'm just trying to grind to get us to where we need to be. So I'm sure eventually I will. But it's always good to see your veteran guys want to stay. Now, obviously, I want these guys to go to their dreams, make it to the NBA. They both want that. But right now, the timing wasn't perfect for them to do that, and for them to come back and want to be a part of this again and make another run. I'm really excited about that, because they're the cornerstone of this team. They're 2 veterans, 2 leaders, and our leading scorer and our best all-around player in DeAndre, with points, assists, steals, blocks, coming back. Then that foundation is pretty strong with what we already have coming back.
Cassie?
Hey, Penny, after winning the NIT, you talked about how you understand any player's decision to transfer, but what's the mental psyche of a coach when just days after you start having a handful of guys leave and knowing what you need to do to rebuild?
I just understand that that's the business. I love every one of those kids that transferred and wish them well. They all went to really great schools. They let you know how much talent that they have, but it's just, I know that it's a part of the game, and I knew that it was, everybody's not going to be happy on these teams are loaded. Our team is loaded with talent, and guys want more out of it than maybe a few minutes, and I don't blame them. What my job is to do is to win. Their job is to put themselves in the best situation that they can put themselves in, and I think they all did that. And man, it's just life. We wish them well, and we had to go and regroup and try to get back to where we want to be. We're going into next season with some good momentum.
Steven?
Hey, Penny, how's it going?
Doing good, how are you?
Doing all right. With those 2 or 3 spots you guys have, I guess, what type of players you guys plan on going after to fill those last few spots?
It's kind of up in the air right now. Obviously, you want players that can fit the system. Players that want to come in and do whatever it takes to win ball games. That's first and foremost. You don't want to get guys that are needy, guys that are needing 20 shots or 30 minutes, because that's not our style of how we play. I think the biggest thing about these next 2 spots is getting guys that understand what this is all about. It's about sacrifice. It's about joining a group of guys that are pretty good and adding their talents to that to try to have a common goal of winning championships, whether it's conference or whether it's NCAA or whatever it is. And that's what it is right now.
Mark?
Hey, Penny. You were talking a little bit about just the realities of college basketball, where just you're going to lose guys, you're going to gain. That's just part of the game now. I wonder if as you look back on, because it felt like you've been really good at recruiting throughout your tenure, but obviously things change every year. Have you changed at all in terms of the types of guys you want to go after now moving forward because of the way the landscape is changing with the transfer portal and with, just the increase in movement we've seen in college basketball? Has that changed how you recruited?
Well, yeah, it's changed because, coming into this that I knew, and I really didn't know a lot of veterans. And then being around the league for a while, around college basketball, you start understanding that you need veterans. You need older guys. That's why I went out to Landers and DeAndre, and then going out to Earl and Davion. With Davion being a senior and Earl, being a sophomore, he'll be a freshman again next year, but obviously this will be the second year. Older players instead of high school freshmen. Obviously, we have 3 guys coming in that are freshmen, but the way the portal is and the way the grad transfers work, you need the mixture. You really do. You can get lucky, and we didn't get a chance to see it with James, being ineligible and DJ being hurt, for us to see that group come together to see how powerful it really could have been. And then at the end of that, it was a pandemic that happened, but you do need older guys. So my mindset has gone from not just younger guys, because you still need some, but older guys that fit the system and the culture that I'm putting together, bringing together here.
Gotcha. And then in terms of, I guess, last year, in terms of the amount of talent you have, last year, one of the issues was it took a little while for the guys to come together and really buy in. With a full off season this year, how much easier is that task going to be for you? And I guess what sort of things can you do this year, maybe, in terms of getting this group of guys together that you maybe couldn't last year because of the pandemic?
Yeah, the pandemic really hurt our chemistry last year. It took us a very long time this season just to believe in and buy in. Guys have their own agendas, obviously, coming in, individual agendas, what they want to do well. And sometimes that conflicts with the team. And it took a while, but having an off season this summer, it will definitely, we know who's who. We understand everybody's personalities. The guys coming in understand what it is. And it'll be much better with team building things, even bringing motivational speakers in, keeping them in the right mind frame when they're around the facility, because they weren't a close-knit group last year. And I think this group that stayed is really close. And then the guys that are coming in, they understood that because we explained it to them how this is going to be. So, and that doesn't mean you're not going to still have problems, but the entire offseason together is going to be much better than not having an offseason at all last year together.
And just to clarify, all the guys that were on the team last year who haven't announced a transfer yet, have they told you they're coming back? Like Lester, Malcolm, Alo, all those, like,
yeah, those guys. The only guy that's like questionable is Jaden. He's thinking about leaving.
Oh, your son, Jaden.
That was a joke. Anyways, but no, they all told me early on that they weren't going anywhere. It's really, it's a good and a bad thing, because coaches are always after the season trying to figure out if guys are coming back. Some guys for the NBA, some guys for transferring, and it's just the way the lay of the land now. You know, this is how it is.
Thanks, Penny.
Jason?
Penny, speaking of the offseason, it sounds like the recruiting dead period is going to end here pretty soon. Just wanted to get your reaction to that. It sounds like June 1st is the target date for the NCAA to lift the dead period. Just want to get your thoughts on that and your reaction to getting back to normalcy on that front after such a long period of time away from it.
Yeah, no, it'll be great for me because you want to get out. You want to get out and see the kids in person. You want to get back in the gym around the other coaches. You want to get the atmosphere going again. And it lets us know that our country is getting back to some normalcy. And that's a great sign. So I'm excited. Over Zoom has been great, but it's not personable enough, you know, as if, you know, being face-to-face and having someone being right in front of you and having a conversation. So I just think that that's going to be great. And being able to get back out on the road and see the guys play. And that's exciting for the kids as well, to be able to see the coaches back in the gym. That's what you live for as an AAU coach, as an AAU player, seeing coaches over on the sideline watching your team and your kids play.
Yeah, and a quick follow-up. Any update on Alex Lomax and his ankle?
Spoke to him this morning, feeling much better, but there's really no timetable, really. Because the season is over, just need to get him fully healthy. We are talking about wearing ankle braces more for him this year because he's had ankle problems in the past. And that's just really unfortunate that he couldn't finish the season, but need to keep him healthy.
Isaac?
Hey, Coach, we talked a lot about the player movement so far this morning. As far as the staff, we've kind of heard some rumors that the schools are coming after strength and conditioning coach Darby Ritz. Is he currently still on staff?
Yeah, he's still on staff now, but I encourage all of my staff to live out their dreams, to be honest with you. You know, my coaches, we're trying to get them to for the city and for the school, but if there's job openings that come from the product of other people seeing the greatness and what people under this regime has, then I'm all for that. I always encourage guys, if you can make more money, if you can get a better opportunity, to always leave those options open. And you know, I'm happy to be a part of all of that. But right now, he's still with us.
Clayton?
Hey, Penny, just, you know, with all this shuffle going on throughout the country, you know, there are some people that end up getting a good hand and some that don't. Do you feel that you have gotten better with kind of how that shuffle, you know, shook out essentially for you guys?
Well, when you lose as much as we lost a pretty good bit of guys that played for us, and getting new guys, you just don't know how they're going to mesh because we were comfortable with the guys that were here. But I don't really look at it as even or we won or we lost. I just look at it as we got new guys coming in that we hope they can come in and buy into the culture and believe in the culture and keep the chemistry going and understand our system and move us forward towards our goals. And that's all I can say about that, because I don't look at it as a win or a loss. I look at it as, the kids that left got what they wanted, and we got to go out and get people to replace them to make us better.
And, obviously the threshold for wanting to leave is a lot lower now with the way things are for schools. But, some of those guys were some longtime ties that you had, some local Memphis guys. Do you feel that you guys all left on good terms, and, everybody associated with, those programs here in Memphis recruiting wise, that everything is, ended amicably for you guys?
Yeah, there was nothing that was anger. It was just an understanding. I'm a basketball player before I'm a coach, and I understand how it works and how these kids think. And like I said, every meeting that we had ended peacefully with a hug and a handshake and wishing them well. And I mean that. And they can call on me and ask me for anything moving forward, as far as when it goes to the NBA or whatever they're trying to do moving forward, training. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger to me. These kids will always be a part of who I am. Some of these kids I've been knowing a lot longer. And you're going to always have those relationships.
All right, we'll do two more. Terry?
Hey, Coach, I know it's still early in the process. I know you guys been invited to the NIT, but anything else on the scheduling front so far that you can announce?
Nothing big. I mean, we've been trying to find games, try to get a P5 to come here, but you know how tough that is. A lot of those teams don't want to travel, especially coming into here. So we're going to keep plugging away and seeing what we can do to put together a pretty good schedule. We got a lot of SEC games to make up that we missed last year with the Ole Miss, the Georgia, and the Tennessee. And then we'll just try to add from those.
Mike, last question.
Hey, Penny, it seems that every team that you've had, it's almost like you're coaching a new team every year. There's never a better time than sitting here right before May. What are the expectations if things fall into place with this team and the meshing of veterans and newcomers? How good do you think this team can be coming off an NIT tournament title?
With the way that we finished in the NIT, I think the mentality is totally different with the guys now because they've tasted winning. They've tasted going in a tournament and winning. So now there are higher expectations of themselves, of their peers. So I see the difference in them since we won the NIT from last year and the year before. I mean, when you've been in a battle with guys, obviously 3 of those guys left. But the team that's left, they're ready to tell the other players that are coming how it works around here, what the culture is and what they want. And I see them being hungrier for things and wanting to work more. Whereas last year and the year before, maybe they weren't as eager to get in the gym. Now they're wanting to get in the gym these last couple of weeks, get 30 minutes to an hour in working on their games and carry that out throughout the summer. So I see a total difference. But to answer your question, I think that we can be really good. The way we finished the season, the last 15 games, is the way that we can begin the season this year and not be rocky. And you do have a good enough core of guys that are coming back that can keep the chemistry where it is, and the other guys can just join in and just be a part of it as well.
Safe to say that the NCAA tournament is a must as you sit here now. It's been a long time. You saw it as a former player just sitting on the sideline that this program hasn't been for a while. And now you're going into your 4th year and you've had pandemics and all this other kind of stuff, but you got to make it, right? You got to be in the
Absolutely.
2022
I mean,
tournament.
Not to interrupt you, Mike, but it's just the NCAA tournament is where it is. I mean, that's what you're playing for. You're playing for conference tournaments, championships, regular season and conference championships, and you're playing for the NCAA tournament. That's what you play for. And we have not made it yet. We've been to 2 NITs and didn't play last year. So it's time to get over the hump.